I'd love to start off with, you said you have this book coming out. I don't know if you want to start talking about that and what it is.
So The Sexy Lie is the new book. The full title is The Sexy Lie, The War on Women's Bodies and How to Fight Back. So I, use some war metaphors here and throughout the book, but it's essentially the data to back up the TED Talk. All of a sudden we have, the lie, right? That being a sex object is empowering. And we know it to be empirically a lie. We also know it to be kind of theoretically a lie. So if you approach it from those two angles, empirically, we know that we raise our little girls to view their bodies as these projects to be worked on, and we raise our little boys to view their bodies as tools to master their environment. So we set it up so that girls view their bodies as objects and boys view their bodies as subjects, as tools, as something that is alive and active and will help them move through the world. Little girls, and I'm making this, very kind of binary here because this is where the research has been done, and it's really heartening to see kind of the rise of the obvious, which is the fluidity of gender. So what I'm talking about is not something that's set in stone. It tends to be binary. It's changeable. It's socially constructed. But at the end of the day, the more girls think of themselves and women view themselves through kind of this gaze, if you will, view themselves as sex objects, we know the more likely they are to be depressed, the more likely they are to suffer from eating disorders. The lower their belief in themselves, their self-esteem, the lower their belief that they can make a change in the world, their political efficacy. We also know that it leads to high rates of body hatred and shame. So that's the empirical side of it. Then the theoretical side, which is maybe even more obvious, is that, we tend to simplify the world as humans into binaries, and we have sexual subjects and sexual objects. That's the binary that we use to simplify the world. And we, teach boys that they're sexual subjects, and we teach girls that they're sexual objects. And when you break it down, subjects act and objects are acted upon. So it doesn't matter if you become a super valuable sex object, you are still always in a subordinate position. So I am not interested in finger wagging or moralizing. I actually want sexual liberation to be sexual liberation. And if you view yourself as an object and you believe that your primary value comes from the way that you look and the way that you appear and the amount of validation you get from the outside world, you are inherently setting yourself up, not you, but the culture is inherently setting up the individual to be subordinate and to not be a sexual agent. So I want everyone to be sexual agents. And I want us to really critically think about what it means that we raise little girls and heterosexual boys to view little girls as sexual objects.